Okay, Chris. See, us Steam Deck fans, we don't want no excuses around here. What you got for us? Okay, Chris, talk. Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work, health and strength is good. What? And to you Steam Deck fans again, Steam Deck Tribe, Steam Deck Nation, Steam Deck Universe, Steam Deck World, Steam Deck Legion, what's up? Steam Deck Mob, yeah, what's good? The Steam Deck Squad, look. Just seen this article here on PCN Games. It's talking about the Steam Deck boot loop issues. But here's what the problem. Here. Let me get through this. It says here, Steam Deck boot loop issues seemingly linked to SSD dilemma. But I'm gonna show you how to fix this. Watch this. It says here, Steam Deck boot loop errors are fairly common, but one fan believes that the issues are linked to the portable SSD and problems with Steam OS desktop mode. It says here, the Steam Deck boot loop issues are a pain, but savvy users believe the dilemma is caused by filling the portable SSD. If you have concerns about the storage on your Valve PC, the warning serves as a handy heads up, especially if your drive is near capacity. Right? It says here, according to the Steam Deck enthusiast Todd 10K, the issue first emerged over 8 months, and they aren't the only one afflicted. The problem seems to be linked to the desktop mode, as filling the handy SSD seemingly puts the deck into a boot loop or a startup. Other Steam Deck fans have come forward to say they have encountered some same issues, with one user recommending creating a Linux boot up USB stick and deleting unnecessary files. Some users have agreed with Todd 10K that Valve should roll out a fix, or at least create a warning for when your SSD is near capacity. However, there are those in the threads who are a little more dismissive about the problems. One person has said that if you have a Steam Deck, you need to be conscious about how much space is being taken up. Another insisted that operating systems have been this way for decades, requiring some space to be left over for cache and temporary files. And then it says here, in case it's useful for others to know, especially as not many people seems to be talking about it, where there is a Steam Cloud storage to save, it's unlikely to help in this situation. If your SSD is close to getting full, you can always go for one of the best Steam Deck dock options, such as the JSOX M.2, to relieve your desktop storage woes. So here's the deal. Here's the answer to the problem. The Steam Deck hard drives is limited from the 64 gigs to the 256 to the 512, right? So your operating system, okay. Let me help you. Let me help you non-computer people. All you do is just play games. Here's the deal. Look, I used to work at CompUSA back in the day, a couple years back, right? And I was a software rep. So my job was to teach people how to use software. When it comes to your desktop computer or your laptop, or when it comes to your desktop computer or your laptop, right? Your operating system, when you buy it, right? You have the home version, you have the professional edition, you have the enterprise edition, right? On the side of the box, it tells you what it needs, right? So it needs this amount of RAM to run. That's for the operating system alone. We're not even talking about games. We're talking about the OS. The operating system, on the side of the box, it says I need this to run. I need this type of PC to run on, this amount of RAM to be used, and this amount of space. So when you get a hard drive in your desktop computer, you have to realize that you have to leave space on your hard drive for your operating system, because your operating system has a lot of files within it that needs update. And when those updates come in now, the updates now needs its own RAM and memory and space to operate. So the same rule applies to the Steam Deck. Look, I have an Xbox One, right? I have an Xbox One that's 2 terabyte, and I left that 2 terabyte of hard drive space in my Xbox. I left it empty. That's for like apps. That's for like the OS, and that's for the apps that you get on the Xbox. All my games now, I moved it over to an external hard drive. Okay, I moved all the game. It was installed on the internal, but I moved it over to the. It was installed on the internal, but I moved it over to the external. All the games that I got. Okay, why did I do that? I did that so that's for the operating system. The hard drive that comes within your within your consoles. Yes, you can put some games on it, but you can't put every single game on it. You have to create space for the operating system and all the files and apps that run within the operating system, because they need space. They're getting updates coming in on a constant basis. So you can only keep say like a couple of games, and that's it. But the rest of the hard drive is for the OS. So that's the problem the Steam Deck is facing. And to fix that issue, you might could put like one or two games on the SSD, but the rest of that SSD is for the operating system, because there's so much updates coming in. And then when those updates come in, they need space, they need RAM. Okay, that's why I tell people. This is why I tell people that 4 gigs of RAM in a desktop computer is a complete joke. 8 gigs of RAM in a desktop computer is a joke, because there's so much updates coming in. Then you have the expansions for the operating system. That needs its own RAM too. The operating system inside your desktop needs RAM to run, but that expansion now, it needs RAM too. So that 2 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of RAM in your computer, it is a joke, a complete joke. 8 gigs of RAM in a desktop is a joke. Okay, you got to go higher because of all the updates and all the expansion that's coming in, because the operating system is already running. And then here comes the update, and they're looking at the memory like fresh meat, like energy. Like we need some RAM to run to keep the operating system going. So yeah, when it comes to the Steam Deck, you got to get an external SSDs, okay? And you have to leave space. You have to leave space on the hard drive, so the operating system within the Steam Deck can operate. And that's just the answer to the whole problem. So when it comes to the Steam Deck, you can only add like 1 or 2 games to the SSD. The rest of that space is for the operating system and all those apps that you got, like Netflix, every app that you could think of, Facebook, all of that. Okay, because all those apps and social media platforms, they all need memory within the operating system. So let's say this is 4 gigs of RAM. Every app application, like, I need this amount, that amount, and they're just like chewing away at the memory, because they need that much memory to run. Okay, so when it comes to the Steam Deck, you have to divide the SSD in half. Like in half. You can put like 1 or 2 games, and that's about it. Because the rest of that space is for the operating system and all the files that it has and all the apps that are out there that you're trying to run. If you download, say, like an app, to your Steam Deck, that app needs a chunk of memory. Needs a chunk of memory to run. Okay, so yeah, you have to realize when you get these consoles and these handhelds, you have to realize that there's limitations on what you can install on it, and you have to realize that the operating system that runs your machine, it has to have space because there's update coming in. That's number one, and it needs a lot of RAM. You know, so yeah, that's what you have to realize when it comes to this these tech stuff, when it comes to this computer stuff, because most people just play video games. They don't know this. They do not know this. They do not know that. They just play video games. They may act like they're kind of technically savvy, so to speak, but then they get exposed when things come up with their own consoles. You know, all they care about is playing video games. But I'm warning you, when it comes to the PS4, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series S, the Steam Deck, when it comes to those consoles and that handheld, you have to realize that the hard drive within your console or handheld, you can install like 1 or 2 games on it. That hard drive is really for the operating system and all the apps and files that you have. They need space so they can operate because there's more update coming in. I mean, you can try to so-called delete files, but that hard drive was really for the operating system because of all the updates that are coming in. So that's what you need to realize when it comes to the Xbox One or the PS4, the Xbox Series X and PS5. Look, on my PS4 right now, that hard drive has no game on it. I moved all the games to the external. Why? Because that operating system needs space to operate. There's updates coming in. And then when the games, they get update, they're on the bigger drives. They're on the bigger drive. So that hard drive can handle all those games. And that's what you need to realize when it comes to the the Steam Deck. That's what you need to realize, because you know, the operating system is very it needs space, it needs memory, it needs everything, man. Yeah. And you can't, when you buy these handhelds, you have to realize that the hard drive that's there is really for the operating system. You might can put 1 or 2 games on it, and that's it. But the rest of the space in that hard drive on your Steam Deck, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, your desktops, is for the operating system. So for all you people that don't understand this stuff, I'm teaching you it now. So if you have a desktop at home, and if you're sitting on 4 gigs of RAM, you need to upgrade it to about at least 16 gigs, so your computer can function better. If your hard drive space is small, you need to get an external, okay, so your computer can function properly. That's what it's going to come down to. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Or Dark Side. Go home. Peace.